In the most intense aerial assault since the full-scale invasion began in 2022, Russia fired more than 470 Shahed kamikaze drones and 48 ballistic and cruise missiles at targets across Ukraine overnight, killing at least 25 civilians and wounding 115 others. The barrage, which began around 10 o'clock local time, plunged large parts of the country into darkness after strikes severely damaged critical energy infrastructure, triggering emergency power outages in major cities, including Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Ternopil, as winter approaches. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy described the attack as barbaric, accusing Moscow of deliberately targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure. Ukrainian air defenses intercepted 312 drones and 42 missiles, according to the country's defense ministry. But the volume of incoming projectiles overwhelmed defenses in several regions. In the western city of Ternopil, until now relatively spared from frontline fighting, 2 9-story residential buildings in the city center were obliterated by ballistic missiles. 20 people were killed, among them 2 children, aged 6 and 9. Rescue teams worked through the night with search dogs and heavy machinery. Regional Governor Volodymyr reported 64 injuries, including 14 children. In Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city near the Eastern Front, Russian drones struck the central Slobitsky and Osnovyansk districts, setting an apartment building ablaze. At least 5 people died and 32 were wounded, including 3 children pulled from the rubble. Regional Governor Oleh Syniehubov said energy facilities were again deliberately targeted, marking the 3rd large-scale assault on the city in as many days. In the capital, missile strikes damaged main power lines on the city's outskirts, causing widespread blackouts. 8 people were killed, including a foreign journalist who was reporting from his apartment balcony when debris struck. Shrapnel from an Iskander missile also hit the embassy of Azerbaijan. No diplomatic staff were injured. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko activated emergency protocols and warned residents, "We are entering the 4th winter of this war. Russia wants to freeze us, but we will endure." Thousands sought shelter in underground metro stations, where volunteers distributed blankets and canned food. Energy Minister Herman Halushchenko stated that more than 40% of Ukraine's national power grid has now been damaged or destroyed since the invasion began. The Russian Defense Ministry described the overnight operation as a retaliatory strike for Ukraine's use of US-made ATACMS missiles against military targets in Russia's Voronezh region on November 18th. Moscow claimed debris from those missiles damaged a nursing home and an orphanage, though it reported no casualties. Kyiv rejected the accusation and called its ATACMS strikes a legitimate act of self-defense. In an address from the Kremlin, President Vladimir Putin praised the Russian military for precision strikes on Ukrainian energy facilities and weapons production sites. He again blamed Western influence for the collapse of peace talks held in Istanbul earlier this year. President Zelenskyy, fresh from meetings in Paris with French President Emmanuel Macron, renewed calls for stronger international action to halt the escalating violence.